Hi guys, this is Dom in editing. We recorded this podcast before news of the new national lockdown. So we're not entirely sure what events are going to be able to go ahead and what events aren't going to be able to go ahead, or what the sport department are doing about the new lockdown rules. So we wanted to put it out just so you know and can meet virtually the UoN Disability Sport team. So without further ado, on with the podcast. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of the Welfare and Sport podcast. Welfare and Sport is a student-run campaign group based at the University of Nottingham, which aims to promote good mental health through sport. Joining me today, we have the UoN Disability Sport team. We've got Harry Manship and Will Turner. So do you both want to say hi?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Harry Manship, and I am the Disability Sport Ambassador for the university. So I work closely with the sports team, with Hannah Webber within the sports department, to promote disability sport throughout the university, running social media platforms and also working closely with our students to help them in any way that they need. Will?
I'm Will Turner. I also work closely with Hannah Webber as the Men's Health Active Ambassador. And Men's Health Active is all about promoting positive mental health for people who identify as men. And to do this, I occasionally try to organise events and get people involved on social media. Normally we'd be having regular sessions running, but COVID is making that a bit difficult. But we're trying to bring lots of other stuff to get on board with instead.
I think we should probably have Hannah Webber on here one day, given she's the kind of common link between welfare and sport and disability sport.
Yeah, she's the person to go to.
All right, so can one of you guys describe what UoN Disability Sport is?
Yeah, I'll do my best. You'd think I'd be able to describe it really well, but so the disability sport is a separate sort of facet of the university sports team, like I said, run by Hannah Webber. And so our aim is to cater for all disabled students who attend the University of Nottingham. And we do that by, like I said, social media. So we really encourage engagement with our Instagram, which is at UoN Disability Sport, and our Facebook page, which is, again, University of Nottingham Disability Sport. And so basically we've got a load of initiatives and events, COVID dependent, obviously, that we're setting up to increase engagement within sport, because we really believe that whatever ability you are, you can always help improve your sort of welfare and well-being, and generally have a great time through sport. So that's what we're trying to promote as UoN Disability Sport, basically.
Yeah, I would say that just as a whole, the underlying drive in disability sport is just trying to make sport fun and get everyone involved in it, because it's just got so many benefits of staying active for your physical and mental health, and that's all we try to do, really. That's literally all our time is devoted to making it accessible to as many people as possible.
Yeah, I think we've got a very, very similar vision to you guys, where it's kind of make sport accessible to people and really lower the barrier of entry to sport in Nottingham. Like there's, a lot of teams where there's not a high barrier anyway, but it's to just really make sure people get involved if they want to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think it's important to add that, just like you, Dom, we're both students at the university as well. So we have a really good understanding, and we've experienced firsthand just how much sport has helped our mental health and well-being. We've both had great. So I've been a swimmer the whole time I've been at uni, and I know you do salsa, Will, as well, which is fantastic.
I have been known to dabble.
Sorry to drop you in it.
My experience of sport is quite different to yours, but I would, as you say, it's still integral to my sort of enjoyment of and well-being at uni. So I tried out for basketball in first year, actually. Otherwise, I've engaged with sport throughout my sort of university career. I've tried loads of different sports, got into scuba diving, for example, and last year, I started doing salsa, and I've continued that this year. And then I've also just discovered new sports just by basically wanting to get the most out of my gym membership, and so trying things out in the gym. I remember trying out the squash courts in like week 2 of first year, and yeah, I absolutely love squash now. I play it all the time, but continue with other stuff that I like basketball, and I've got into climbing as well. So yeah, I've definitely more of a less professional sort of approach, but still really important to my university life.
Whereas you've had me and Harry, who have been like lifelong swimmers, and we're just like got to uni in the swimming pool straight away, competitive. And it sounds like I'm going to ask you a lot more about that in a bit, Will, about the salsa. But it sounds like we have got kind of two very different type of people on.
Yeah, I think it's whatever floats your boat, really, isn't it? It's sort of
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what you're geared towards, but just getting those endorphins running and getting active alongside other people, it's great. And you mentioned all the different sports that you've tried. I think I signed up for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the start of third year, and I was too scared to go along to any of the sessions because I was worried about what was going to happen to me. But looking back,
you kept that very quiet. I did not know you signed up for BJJ.
Yeah,
you kept that very quiet.
Yeah, one of my friends was really into it, so I thought I'd give it a go, and I never went because I was too nervous. But yeah, whatever sport that you're into, it's always worth getting involved.
All right, so I know UoN Disability Sport put on lots of like Engage events, like kind of how you can get involved and try these new sports. Do you want to tell us more about those?
Sure. So I guess the big event that I want to plug is the Engage Inclusive Sport sessions that we've got running next week as part of BU Week. So Engage sessions run, throughout the term, throughout the year for anyone to get involved. But this next week is a way for us to really promote those sessions to inclusive athletes, so disabled students, and try and get those guys involved in new sports or in sports that they're already interested in, trying to get them known to the clubs. So what is happening, hopefully some of you have checked our social medias. We've got an event for it on Facebook, which is under Engage Inclusive Sports Week, so you can find it there with the whole timetable laid out. And we've got, I think, 11, possibly 12 sports involved. So we've got wheelchair basketball, tennis, football, possibly powerlifting, badminton, loads of a real good range of sports all involved. And basically you can sign up, and more information will be coming on that soon, and get involved, and they're completely free, and you can just go and give it a try. And we really want to increase the engagement for all students across the week. Will?
You also get to see our ugly mugs and meet us a bit, because we'll be floating around all these sessions along with other members of the sports team.
Yeah, so there'll be plenty of faces there, which is sort of rare, I guess, during these times, which it will be really nice. We're also, hopefully, if you haven't checked out our Instagram and you look at UoN Sport, we'll be appearing on there as well, covering a few sessions. Hopefully reaching a few other faces as well. So yeah, I really encourage anyone to check it out.
So you said that there's obviously going to be a lot of people at these events, and I hope there are a lot of people at these events, but how are you going to keep these events COVID safe? Because I feel like when people know that they're going to be COVID safe, they'll be able to come.
Yeah, so every club who's registered their interest and applied have submitted a COVID risk assessment, which means that their sessions are all tailored to being run in a COVID-friendly way. So that's the rule of 6, social distancing, and where we can, we've tried to move people outside or to a different format of session, which means that they can still run in a COVID-friendly way. So it should be fine. That's what we've tried to sort of.
Lovely. Sorry for dropping you in for that one, but I feel like
it's a good point.
Like it's proper to address it. Can you tell us what a typical session would look like for an Engage session?
I went to a men's health active session or two last year. The session I went to was Headstrong, which was basically a weight session in high performance zone. But I don't know, we're trying to get them back up and going again, but because the gym rather has expanded to increase capacity into the high performance zone, we're struggling to get space in there. So they're not necessarily happening for a while. But generally, just I've been to an Engage squash session as well, but I don't know if it was an inclusive session. Have you been to any other Engage sessions in your whole uni life?
I know that Headstrong was right after one of the Headstrong sessions was right after the swimming gym session. No, so what would happen is we'd finish our like 3-hour slog set, and then we'd switch over with these guys. So I think it's just it was coached by Paul, who's this massive like British European champion powerlifter, massive guy, and it looked like a really good fun session. You know, you've got kind of people that know weights and people that don't know weights kind of coming together and being coached by this like amazing coach. So I can vouch for that session, definitely.
Well, basically what I'd say is along the lines of people of all abilities rock up. You get committee members and team members from the sports that are there, and they give you advice and they guide you through and they help organise who's playing against who. But that's all I could say, really.
Okay. Can you guys tell me a bit more about what you guys have got planned?
So on the cards for me for the next couple of weeks is all my energy is going to be in Movember. And I am really keen to expand MHA in the form of recruiting champions. And I'm hoping actually to get a champion on every sports committee. So
what's a champion, Will?
A champion is someone who gets a free MHA t-shirt. So all the incentive you need, really.
Free stash. We love to see it.
Exactly, and basically just advocates within their society, advocates the MHA program, and encourages their members to reach out and join it if they're interested. So it's all basically, don't tell them this, but I'm basically using them as human billboards. And yeah, so that's what's going to be occupying my time for the next month, Movember, and expanding MHA's champions.
All right. What's the best way of getting involved in Movember? Is it like I know me and Harry just said that we're both doing it. Is it like best way to get involved? Just sign up with a sports team, or?
So try and find a team to sign on to, and if you can't find a team, you can just sign up yourself and join. You can specify that you're a part of the University of Nottingham, and then however much you raise will go into the overall total that Fergus and Toby have managed to organise, so we can see how, you know, what the student community has been able to raise for the cause. And then for Men's Health Active, and I'm going to try and rope in some other people as well. We're having a competition to see who can do the biggest moustache on GPS run. So it's going to be the widest wingspan of moustache, if you like.
Wingspan, yeah. I like that. I like that wingspan.
So, sorry, did you have a question?
So obviously those who can grow moustaches and people who identify as male can get involved, but how can those that maybe can't grow or aren't comfortable growing moustaches, or those that identify as female get involved? Yeah.
Well, we are more than happy to have women as MHA champions, for example, people who identify as female as MHA champions. And we want everyone, as many people as possible, to participate in Movember events and like my moustache GPS competition. So something that's really being marketed for women for the Movember campaign this year is 60k, a 60k run, a total across the month, to raise awareness of. Sorry, I'm probably gonna have to cut this. I think it's 60 suicides, but I can't remember to what degree.
Well, I think the figure is that 60 males per hour across the world commit suicide over mental health related issues.
You don't need the capacity to grow a moustache to get involved in Movember. There is plenty to be getting on.
I know me and Harry are going to grow some awful moustaches over the month. So honestly, like, any moustache you'll grow or any run you can do will be better than both of our moustaches put together. Harry, what's on the cards for you at the moment?
So yeah, like I've been chatting on about, we've got the Engage Inclusive Sports Week next week. But then along with that, sort of the other thing that I'm beginning to work on is some blog posts to look out for. So they'll hopefully be broadcast by UoN Sport and available on their website and maybe via their sort of email round robin sort of thing. We shall see. But basically, this coming week, I'm going to do one themed around the Engage Inclusive Sports Week. And the overarching theme for that is sort of 10 reasons why you should get involved with sport, with engaged sport, with inclusive sport. It just gives some people a little fun thing to read on a Monday morning or whenever you're sort of not tuned out of your lecture, not paying attention. If you want something to read, have a look for that. The other one, which I'm really excited about, is as part of my role, I work closely with some of the scholars at the university, some of the disabled scholars. So I have chatted with we've got two brilliant scholars that I've spoken with so far, and there are plenty more that I want to get in touch with. So we've got Martha from climbing and Dan, who is a wheelchair basketball scholar, who I've spoken to both of them, and they're two very impressive people. And basically I want to get them involved in a potential blog post for like a day in the life kind of post. So focusing around how they manage their immense sporting commitments, also with university work and living in halls, different accommodations, how it all sort of fits together and how they sort of get the most out of sport and how it sort of impacts their well-being, I guess, as well. So that's going to tie in with International Persons of Disabilities Day, and that's the 3rd of December. So that will come later on in the term, but that's something we're working towards and we're really excited about.
So, Will, I wanted to ask you more about salsa.
Right.
Tell us more about that, please.
So I actually got into dancing in the first semester of my second year, which was last year, because I was invited to be a part in Nuts to Strictly. So I was a celebrity, quote unquote. I think they were scraping the bottom of the barrel for that one, but I was just on a committee of a society. I was the stock officer of the Nottingham Night Owls. I'm now the coordinator of the Nottingham Night Owls. But I got partnered up with a professional who was a committee member of the Latin and Ballroom Society, and she and I danced a cha-cha, which was to a theme of A Knight's Tale. Which was my mum's favourite movie. So, it was so much fun. I loved it, and I decided to keep dancing. In the second semester, I decided to do salsa because the Latin and Ballroom classes clashed with my scuba diving training on Mondays. So salsa is on Tuesdays. So, I got into it. And it was great fun. I didn't actually complete the first thing because of COVID, but I've been continuing it this semester. Over Teams. There's not a lot of room in my bedroom for salsering. I'm not going to lie to you, but I've been managing, and we're actually doing in person for that now. So hopefully I will continue to. I'm actually a continuing beginner now. But so hopefully I'll continue to improve. But I love it because I think dance as a whole, in terms of linking it with my why I think it's so great to advocate with regards to Men's Health Active, is that it's just a great way to tear down lots of conceptions about toxic masculinity, and it's so social, and just dance as a whole, any kind of dance you want to do. If you want to do Indian dancing, if you want to do tap dancing, ballroom dancing, it's just they're so social and everyone's really encouraging, and it's a great way to be active, and as I say, I think it's good for encouraging mental health.
Great. You mentioned Nottingham Night Owls. Do you want to give us a brief 1 or 2 minute introduction to that as well?
Sure. So the Nottingham Night Owls are a society that run patrols that aim to help students get home safely after the student club nights. So predominantly that's Crisis on a Wednesday. but we also run shifts on Thursdays. But obviously with COVID, that's not really happening at the moment. So to occupy our volunteers, we are running an anti-sexual harassment campaign. It's called Hoot Back at Sexual Harassment, and that actually launched this past week on the 26th to coincide with Healthy U's Consent Awareness Week. And then we're also helping to run isolation or quarantine deliveries. So we're helping with a scheme that the university's running, and then we're also helping to set up our own scheme in collaboration with the Christians Union and Carnival. And for that, we're just basically, if you need something and you're trapped in isolation or in quarantine, and we'll try and get it to you. That's how the society is trying to keep itself occupied and relevant during COVID.
Awesome. That sounds like a really good idea at the moment.
It's definitely challenging, but it's worth it, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. Right, so I think we'll try and wrap it up. All right, so Will, what is your proudest sporting moment at uni?
Oh, well, you see, in first year, and I'm not trying to come across as really vain here, but in first year, I happened to be in a friend group with a number of Wills in the same group. Well, specifically 2. So my sort of Hall's friend group named our group chat WillSoc. And in first year, we organised a WillSoc sports championship with myself and the other Will as the 2 team captains. And I actually won that championship. So
what sport was it?
Oh, well, that was what started it. So many of us did different sports. So like I loved basketball. One of us was really good at tennis. Another one, we all loved squash. As I say, we all got into it. Someone liked netball. So yeah, we did football, then we did basketball, then we did netball, and then we did squash. So yeah, those were all the sports we did, and it was a very complex sort of matrix of point scoring, because obviously you don't score the same number of points in each of those. So yeah. Oh, and we also did rounders. I forgot that. So yeah.
What is your kind of proudest sport moment at uni, and am I in it?
You'll have to remind me if you're in it. I'm sure you will be. But it's got to be either any of the box competitions where I've been either captain or president. I
was in a few of
yeah,
those.
so any of those, because I'm quite a competitive person. That's what I sort of that's where I find my joy from sport. So I was captain of the swimming club in my second year and president in my third year. And in our second year, so Dom, whilst you were there, whilst we were competing, we achieved our highest ever buck score, and did just brilliantly. And it's just my favourite thing is to see the team do well. So that was one of them. And
didn't we get promoted as well in Bucks teams?
Yes.
One of our teams got promoted, yeah.
Yeah, so I think our A team went to the top league, and our B team also got promoted as well, something along those lines. And then president, I guess maybe a little selfish of me, but just to see things that I've helped organise and I've put some heart and effort into pay off. Further than that, I also competed in the national, what's it called? The National Winter Championships. When was it? Last November, about this time last year. And that was one of 3 times that I've been at that level in my life. And to be able to do it at the end of uni when I wasn't sure if I was continuing on, and just to be able to do that was epic, really. That was really fun. So those are my big ones. I'm just really proud to have sort of I guess been part of the swimming club and get involved.
Who is your role model in sport, whether at uni or just generally in the wider world of sport?
So I think I've got 2 that I want to mention. First of all, can't not mention Duncan Scott, who some of you probably won't know, but he is a British swimmer. He's from Scotland, and he's very, very, very good. And basically, the way I view him is sort of noble and very humble. Sorry. And whether it's in defeat or in victory, he's always someone who goes about their business quietly and succeeds, and it's just a pleasure to see someone of that quality and of that level do so well.
For some perspective, every time we go to Bucks, Duncan Scott would be there in the final or whatever, and Harry would always make us come back, miss and Nando's booking, make us come back and watch the final. Like, I'm captain, I'm Prez, we're watching the final with Duncan Scott's in it, and every time he'd swim, Harry would just go, "Oh, he's swimming."
Yeah, I was obsessed. No, I don't know why. He's just got such class about him. So he's probably my big dog swimming idol. But I'd also like to mention, so basically the people that got me involved in the swimming club to the extent that I was. So the previous two presidents before me, Matt Sheriff and Alec Lewis. Some of you probably know Alec because he was involved with Men's Health Active and Welfare and Sport massively last year and did a brilliant job and won several awards for it, I think. So he did a fantastic job last year. And basically those two, they did a brilliant job, and hopefully I like to think that maybe I was able to do the same in my year as president, of just making people feel at ease in the club and providing a really healthy atmosphere to train in and socialise in. So it was those two guys sort of really motivated me to do the same.
I've got to say I've got a very similar, like two of my role models at uni were actually Alec and Harry as well. Like Harry was always like training with me, and in his third year he smashed training. Like he was there every session smashing it, as well as doing all the work. And Alec as well was one of the first faces I was like, I feel comfortable at uni with, kind of thing. Like returners, that weird kind of first term where you don't know anyone. Alec was like always someone I really like felt comfortable with. And also like he got me into Welfare and Sport. He sent me a text and was like, we're having applications for it, do you want to get involved? I said yeah. So yeah.
I could not claim that I have a role model in sport, because if I'm being completely brutally honest with you, I don't actually enjoy watching sport. I just love doing sport. I've always found watching, I think I just had a bad sort of in the deep end with my absolutely football obsessed family. I just had to spend hours watching games of football. So I think it's just really put me off watching sport on like the telly. So I would say recently, if I had to pick someone who's been inspiring me recently, it's been Marcus Rashford, with all that he's doing to sort of raise awareness of poverty and how it affects people. And just sort of, I really respect that, using his sort of position to have a positive influence. And then more generally, I guess Hannah Webber is a fantastic inspiration in terms of what can be achieved through sport to benefit everyone. She does so much and she works really hard, so it's definitely inspiring to be a part of her team.
Awesome. Yeah, I've never met her, so I can't vouch for her, but I'm always seeing her like doing bits and bobs, like on the Facebook events, and obviously like talking to Issy, our chair, and you guys. So yeah, she's a lot. Kind of, what does welfare and sport mean to you?
For me, welfare and sport has just always gone hand in hand. So I've never been, when I was reasonably young, I did do competitive swimming, and
one of us.
But for me, I've never really enjoyed the competitive side of sport. So sport has always been for me just a way of socializing and a way of just feeling better about like myself. You get that endorphins rush, or you just actually have fun. Like the sports I do, like squash and climbing and basketball, I just have tons of fun. Running, slightly less fun, but still beneficial in a endorphins and feeling healthy sort of way. But that's just me personally. So yeah, to ask me what welfare and sport means to me, I would say sport means welfare to me. So yeah.
So throughout my life, sports meant a great deal. It's always been my sort of coping mechanism for whether it was stress at school, stress with university, with exams. For me, particularly in second year, whilst I was doing my undergraduate, I struggled quite significantly with the workload. And for me, I used sport, and particularly swimming, as like a way of just clearing my mind. I think that's really important, not only in terms of your well-being and your mental health, but also in terms of your ability to provide, and do the best in your work as well. Because I found that clearing my mind and then coming back to it with a fresh mindset, maybe the next day or whatever after training, really allowed me to sort of refocus and come at my work with a new mindset. But also, welfare in sport to me, I guess, is, like we've been talking about, and I guess is the whole focus of this, to use sport to basically feel good. It doesn't matter how it makes you feel good. You don't have to be the most competitive, you don't have to be the best, you could just be getting involved, having a go. It could just be an opportunity to make new friends. You don't even have to do the sport, maybe you just go to the social, who knows. But I think it's really important that that social aspect and sport is what makes you happy. So that's what it means to me. Yeah.
So I think that's all we've got time for at the moment. I think we've covered everything we meant to say, so we're going to wrap it up. So thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you so
Pleasure.
much.
Thank you.
And we'll be seeing you guys on the podcast soon, probably.
Definitely.
Yeah, see you next time for the podcast.